On September 11, 2001, 19 people from an Islamic terrorist group hijacked 4 planes to carry out an attack on the U.S.
The first 2 planes crashed into the Twin Towers in New York City,
The third plane hit the Pentagon.
and a 4th plane crashed in the fields of Shanksville, Pennsylvania.
Every year on September 11th, we remember 9/11 for the people who died and risked their lives during this attack.
Almost 3,000 people lost their lives during the attack, including the people in the buildings and the first responders who risked their life to save others.
People always say that they remember where they were during 9/11. So we interviewed some teachers and asked them where they were and what happened.
I was in a small classroom at Tippecanoe Valley High School. I was reading the I-step to a deaf student who was reading my lips. So that's where I was at.
So 9/11 happened. I was a senior in high school, and I was actually at school when it happened. I was in my English class, and I can remember the teachers turning on the TV, and I remember watching the live feed of when the second plane hit the tower. It was really scary. It was a really scary day. And at the time, I just turned 18, or I was about to turn 18. I was a month away from being 18. And my friend's first thought was, we're going to war, and they're going to reinstate the draft. So there was a lot of fear, a lot of tension. Everything got shut down for a little bit, and it was a scary time. So that's where I was and kind of how I felt when 9/11 happened.
On 9/11, I was a teacher here at the middle school. It was my first year back at Rochester, and I had a prep in the morning, and I went up to the office for a few things, and Mrs. Matthews, who was our secretary at the time, asked me if I had heard about a plane crashing into a building in New York City. And so hadn't heard much about it, thought it was just a small plane, so I came back to my room, was getting ready for the day, and did turn on the news just to see what was going on, and I realized that it wasn't just a small plane, that it was something much larger, and kind of watched the things unfold through the computer all day long. We tried to keep it quiet from the kids, but eventually they did find out what was going on. But it was very surreal day, and I remember the first time that I really thought, we're really in for it, is when I heard there was smoke at the Pentagon. Once I heard that, that's when I really started genuinely getting scared and knew that we were definitely under attack. So that whole day was kind of numb. Everybody was numb to it, and then the following weeks, going home and watching everything on TV the entire time, something I'll never forget. But yeah, I'll never forget Mrs. Matthews is the one that asked me, and it's changed our world in an instant.
I was in my senior English class at Hebron High School, second period.
What do you remember about 9/11?
I remember I was actually late to class, and everybody was watching the news. So when I walked into class, normally when you're late to class, everybody looks at you, but nobody looked at me. Everybody was looking at the screen. Then I realized that something odd had happened, and my teacher didn't even count me tardy that day because he didn't even look over at me either.
Thank you.
Okay, so when the attacks on 9/11 happened, I was actually in a classroom at Winnemac Middle School, and we had heard that something was happening, so we were able to turn on the news and kind of watch it as it was happening. And I remember being really confused and kind of scared. And it took our school a while to figure out how we were going to continue on for the next couple days as we learned more about what happened. But it was definitely a confusing time for sure.
On September 11th, 2001, I was at Purdue University. I was in college, and my friends and I had just come back from a class. We'd gotten back to the our dorm room, and our roommate had the TV on and was watching the footage from the Twin Towers, the World Trade Center. First plane had hit, and then as we were watching it, the second plane struck the second tower, and we were very nervous. It was a time we were scared. I was scared. I remember calling my parents because they were back at home, while I was at college. And it was just a time of a lot of uncertainty. And I remember a lot of people thinking the same thing, like what was going on. And it wasn't probably until the next couple of days that everything started to set in, and the reality of what had happened really set in. And I think for several weeks after that, there was a lot of uneasiness and nervousness among everybody, just not knowing a lot about it.